Now, after Donald Trump invoked the Alien Enemies Act to deport Venezuelan immigrants, the American Civil Liberties Union, ACLU, has pressed a federal judge to compel the U.S. government to retrieve the deported Venezuelans, arguing that the administration may have knowingly violated a federal court order. The ACLU intends to ask the judge to order the U.S. government to secure the return of the deported Venezuelans who were sent to detention facilities in El Salvador and Honduras despite an emergency court order to halt the deportations. Speaking outside the courthouse, ACLU attorney Lee Gallerand said that the group is convinced that the government has acted unlawfully and violated the order, perhaps even knowingly. The attorney acknowledged the legal complexity of forcing a foreign government to act, but argued that the U.S. effectively retains control over the deportees.
We will ask the judge to order the government to get these individuals back. I think there's a very serious question about whether a federal judge can ever order a foreign government to do something, and that, the answer is generally no. But here I think we're in a very different situation factually. This essentially is like El Salvador acting like a private prison, holding these individuals, and it appears that the U.S. is paying for it. So the U.S. essentially has constructive custody over these individuals, and there's no question the U.S. has leverage to get them back.
More than 200 alleged Venezuelan gang members have been deported from the U.S. to El Salvador, despite a federal judge's order preventing the administration from invoking a centuries-old wartime law to justify the deportations. But by then, the flights had already departed. Trump has defended the use of the Wartime Act, calling current scenario more dangerous than a war. The White House has said that it is wholly confident of winning in court, asserting that the administration acted within the confines of the law.
No, in fact, this administration acted within the confines of the law, again, within the president's constitutional authority and under the authority granted to him under the Alien Enemies Act. We are quite confident in that, and we are wholly confident that we are going to win this case in court.
Now, earlier, a video released by the El Salvadoran government showed the deportees shackled at their hands and ankles, struggling to walk as officers pushed their heads down to have them bend at the waist. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro has said that he will ask the UN to protect the rights of Venezuelan migrants. The head of the National Assembly in Caracas has said that their imprisonment in El Salvador amounts to a crime against humanity. President of the Venezuelan Parliament, Roger Rodriguez, has said that the government will push for their repatriation. El Salvadoran citizens and rights groups have voiced their concerns over the deportation, saying they are already fighting gangs. They're only to bring criminals from other places. Salvadoran President Nayib Bukele has spearheaded an anti-gang crackdown that has included mass trials and the construction of a mega prison. And to give us more details on the story, our New York correspondent Susan Terani sent us this report.
The Trump administration's deportation of 250 alleged Venezuelan gang members to El Salvador, despite a federal judge's restraining order, has sparked a major debate and battle over executive power. The administration invoked the Alien and Enemies Act of 1798, claiming broader authority to act. Meanwhile, Secretary of State Marco Rubio and others in the administration have defended the move, saying that the flights were already in international airspace when the judge submitted that order, making it inapplicable. Now, human rights groups are also talking about concerns about abuse risks at El Salvador prisons. The case ultimately tests the limits of presidential authority, judicial oversight, and immigration policy. But on Monday, White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt dismissed concerns raised by human rights organizations regarding the conditions at El Salvador's detention facilities, saying that the United States had allocated some $6 million to assist El Salvador in handling these deportees. Susan Tehrani reporting from New York for WION World as One.